Thank you very much, Andrea Pezzoli. Before giving the floor to the public for questions and comments, allow me to make a few remarks which arise from a paper which, together with Margherita Colangelo, we recently published on intermediaries in the hotel, travel and entertainment business, obviously from a legal perspective. But just to point out that I repeat it again, from a legal perspective, we were under the idea that in these cases, hotels, travel and entertainment, we were faced with a two-sided market where the characteristic is that the intermediary does not himself sell services but puts in contact the parties of the contract, which made it somehow different from traditional distribution contracts, even online distribution contracts. Just to point out, and we came to the same conclusion, seen it from a legal point of view, that was presented here, especially by Andrea Pezzoli, saying that maybe minimum prices, the objection against minimum prices, which is quite common in EU law, maybe did not find some reasonable justification in these two-sided markets. Having said this, I would just like to add two more comments. Obviously, the various sessions are all tied together, so we somehow touch many issues. Each session touches many connected issues. First thing is that I feel that many aspects have somehow been examined by in other markets and in other times. I think that, for example, for what concerns the neutrality of platforms, which was an issue which was considered in the previous session, for example, a very good point of observation would be the long-lasting analysis that the European Commission has done on computer reservation systems in air transport. Obviously, that was with reference with those platforms which were owned by airlines. Now they are no longer owned by airlines, but the problems of transparency and of fair and objective presentation, of neutral presentation, are still there. So I think that is we could get some good elements from that experience, which now I think is quite in the past, but could repeat itself towards other entities. The second element, that when it comes to information markets, I think, and we have seen, especially in the previous session, how much information is essential. I think a whole lot of elements could come from financial regulation of financial markets concerning debtor reliance. What is the ranking of debtors? And we know very well that there is quite a difference between the European approach, which is based on data, personal data protection, and the US and Canadian approach, which has quite a different approach when it comes to having the control of each debtor on his own or her own ranking and on the information which circulates. I think there are some elements which could very usefully be used when it comes to data markets, and I'm somehow anticipating what probably I expect will be an aspect which will be considered in tomorrow's last session on personal data. The last point I wanted to make is that very recently the Italian Competition Authority examined a very interesting case which concerned TripAdvisor and the ranking of TripAdvisor. Now, this was apparently only, I'll put it quote unquote, only an unfair advertising, unfair commercial practice. It was consumer protection, but when it comes out, when we are talking about regulation and self-regulation, apparently the case that came in front and had to be decided by the Italian Antitrust Authority was particular because it came out that TripAdvisor not only did not have, it was easy, the system was, the rankings were easily rigged. Secondly, that TripAdvisor only had 5 people throughout Europe, in the whole of Europe, 28 countries, no, even more because there was also Switzerland and so on, so over 30 countries, which had to control the comments by clients of TripAdvisor, which was obviously quite unfeasible. And what I found was the most astonishing defense by TripAdvisor was that TripAdvisor said, well, but everybody knows that really the ranking on the comments are not really truthful. Now, I found this really quite extraordinary, and I'm sorry to say, but I don't think there are many people in this room who are greatly in favor of regulation, but unfortunately, if the self-regulation is this is an open invitation to the authorities to regulate and to regulate very seriously the way through which these intermediaries operate and receive information, provide information to consumers. Having said that, I wonder if there are some questions. There.